I had just moved, from Agra, where I was born and brought up. I had got married, and I was very well settled. I was doing work and everything when I came back and married Amit. But years later, a couple of years later, I uh, I shared a vision with my husband. Amit is right here. It was very, very interesting because I had this young guy who had just was a part of this family business, and we were going through a restructuring, and we had just this one boutique store which is at Nipinsi Road, and he had this whole thing about with the changing competition, suddenly marketing taking a mainstream for the jewelry sector, digitalization coming in. There was so much, which was coming in, and we suddenly felt that we were missing the boat, and we were, in sales and other things, we were kind of, getting overshadowed. So, there was a common, agreement that we needed to relook and rebrand the company, which was Jaipur Jewels. We were just one store. When I joined him, I looked at the numbers. We had probably, it was a very boutique format. We were catering to these very elite people, the business industrialist wives and all. But what were the walk-ins numbers were? They were just hardly 15, 20. So it was a bit of alarm. But the legacy of the company was 150 years. There were 7 generations, and Amit was the 7th generation who was in the business. So when I kind of joined in, obviously it's a big family-run business, and each one was kind of doing their own thing. It was important for me to figure out and bring some value addition and not do like what else other people are doing. There were people who were handling production. There were people who were looking after sales. There were people doing like different aspects. So I felt that with such a rich legacy of 150 years, there's so much of stories that needs to be told to the people. We had everything in place, like great product, great pricing, great location, but we were missing out on visibility. But if this visibility had to be tackled, it had to be tackled in a very, very consciously and strategic way. And that is how I came on board and was instrumental in rebranding Jaipur Jewels into a new avatar that you all see today. Today, it is my extreme, I feel pride in saying that we are present in Bombay, in Delhi. We've opened another one in Varanasi. We are opening shortly in Ahmedabad, and the format of expansion is there. Branding is not just about like a logo or a website or your visiting card or your packaging. It is much more. It is an experience that you provide to the customers who come to you, the kind of engagement which you provide. And that is how your brand tend to stand out from the other one. And how do you make that? You make that by making it very personal, while making sure that the experience right from a smallest thing in your interaction with the client to the last thing when he leaves, or maybe the after sales service, or maybe whatever little thing that he is interacting with, whether it is your invoice, whether it is your packaging, everything is so beautifully integrated, and it talks about a brand. Brand management is very, very crucial. It is not. It is an art. While it is a function of marketing, and it uses the techniques which increase the perceived value of the product. Like if you go, there are so many brands. Say, for example, bags. A leather bag can cost you anything from 1,500, 2,000. But when you go and buy a branded bag, LV or a Prada or whatever, you are paying much more than that. And why are you paying more? Because of the brand value. Because the kind of experience, the kind of aspiration the brand has created, and that is how the perceived value of the actual product is increased. Branding helps build trust amongst people. So, if people like you, they will listen to you. But if they trust you, they will do business with you. And that is what branding is all about. When I joined Jaipur Jewels and I took up the branding, we did the whole restructuring. We looked at everything from, it was just not like giving a new identity in terms of, a new logo or a website. It was much more. We went into the smallest nitty-gritties of consumer interaction, experience, and that is how we do small steps but steady steps, which improved the quality of it. So the people, the kind of customers who were coming at that time when I joined were obviously had moved out. They were old, very loyal customers. But what was happening was they have moved on in the age cycle bracket. They have become mother-in-laws. The scenario of the jewelry buying had changed. Earlier, when I got married 20 years, 18 years back, the decision-making was the mother-in-law, the mother. We would go to shopping, and whatever they decide, the kind of we buy, and that's what is. And that became a part of the trousseau. But the scenario has completely changed. Today, if a client comes for buying wedding jewelry, the bride knows everything. She has researched, she's gone on the website, she's seen, she's on Instagram. She is so much more, informative. She's full of information, and she knows she has already an aspiration in her mind that if I am going to, get married on my D-Day, I want to wear a Sabyasachi or a Manish or a whatsoever, or I'm going to wear this jewelry, this kind of jewelry, or the Chan Bali. So, gone are the days where, the bride would just easily just listen and buy things. Today, they play a major role, and today they want to have a sense of ownership they want to flaunt it. If it's like I'm carrying a bag and I carry it because if it is a branded bag, because there is an aspiration, I like to flaunt it. And the same thing was kind of coming into the jewelry industry. It's slower. This has been there, like Cartier, Bulgari, so many other brands have been doing very well abroad. But in India, jewelry industry, branding is still like evolving, I would say, So this is what we were studying in, and that is how the need to look into, doing target-driven marketing, and branding. So it was very important for us to look and study what our positioning is. So if we were to decide, we kind of decide holistically, we want to be known as what is our strength. Our strength is all kind of luxurious jewelry, and we think we are a one-stop destination for all kind of trousseau jewelry. So if we were to position ourselves as wedding jewelers and high-end jewelry, we had to make sure that everything that the way the brand was interacting had to say the same language. So branding is very, very important. If you're not a brand, you are just a commodity. And if you have a brand, you bring loyalty, these loyal customers will come to you again and again and again.